Light the beam! Light the beam! Light the beam! Light the beam!
Whew. Light the beam and get the AC guy on the phone immediately.
Oh,
it's a
man.
hot one. It's a hot one, folks. Welcome into the Wednesday night edition of the Sports Cave with Biggest Puma. I am your host, Biggest Puma himself, sometimes affectionately known as, sometimes not so affectionately. Depends on the time of day or the day of the week. But
Damn it, Sam.
alas, you were tuned in again to our, wouldn't say fledgling, I would say growing. I would say blossoming operation.
Oh, yes.
Here from parts unknown in the greater north side of San Antonio area, where we're going to be talking about this a lot over the next 42 days. We are officially 42 days away from the NBA draft, or at least round one. The NBA is trying to copy the NFL and doing round one on one night and round two on the other night. But here's the deal. Having round two on its own night makes no, if you're going to do that, just do the lottery. Do the top 14 picks on one night. Then do the rest of the draft.
Nobody cares about the deep dives.
No.
There's 52 people on a football team, but there's only 12 on a basketball team.
Yeah, 15 technically, or 12 active, 13 active, 15 technically on the roster. And
they're doing it 2 nights.
Every now and then you get your Jalen Brunsons that we were watching before we went live here. Every now and then you get your second round pick that actually becomes somebody. Rarely an all-star, much less an MVP candidate. But alas, the NBA dedicates an entire night to the second round of the NBA draft. That will be June 26th. But we only care about June 25th because after Monday night, now we know exactly where everybody will pick, trades pending. Mm-hmm. And we've got a lot to talk about. We talked a lot. Monday night was an extremely conflicted night for me as a man who has completely disowned everything regarding the Dallas Mavericks in my life.
You're going to go back.
I'm not going to go back.
You're going to go back. You're like a beaten husband.
No,
going back to the abusive wife.
Yeah, how often does that happen? I wonder.
I feel like,
yeah, I was about to say that's equality.
I am a feminist.
You need to be a feminist after Monday night.
I told you I would.
I never turned to like the Mavs are always. We're going to talk a lot of NBA because we didn't get to any of the playoff updates. We got massive injury news now that we have to talk about. And we really didn't talk about the rest of the draft lottery Monday night because we were so hyper-focused on the fact that the top 2 picks were both going to be made by Texas teams. And obviously...
And the fact that the Mavs should never have got that number 1 pick.
No, 1.8% chance. I mean, again, like... I will never fully believe it's rigged because that would literally involve like federal charges of tampering and fraud.
Oh,
and,
that would get Congress
business
involved.
values,
the old
being,
steroid,
being inflated or intentionally
the old
devalued.
The old Black Sox.
1,000%. Like I don't believe that's what happened, but it's really hard not to. It's really hard not to think that was what played out. But going back to Monday night, the Mavs will always be my childhood team. They will always be the team I had in my area growing up. That can never change.
When did the franchise start? In the late 80s?
79, somewhere.
Oh, early 80s?
Yeah, early 80s.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's how much I paid attention to basketball in my early youth.
Yeah, I was one of the few 1,000 people that would still go to games at Reunion Arena in the 90s, and all of that.
They started with the green jerts, right?
Oh yeah, and they were great. They actually,
they should
consider. They need a full rebrand. But the part of me that loved the Mavs growing up is never going away. The part of me that is emotionally invested in the Mavs is completely gone forever. That the Cooper flag thing doesn't change it. I'm gonna enjoy.
The Luka got you that hard.
1,000%.
Oh my God.
1,000%. It was an absolute betrayal of an entire fan base, and they're perfect example.
Amazing. That is amazing.
The business side of it. They lost $750 million in projected revenue when they traded Luka. Now that they drafted Cooper Flagg, they just got $500 million of that back overnight because he has that much value to the franchise. So, again, there's a part of me that is upset they won the draft lottery because I wanted them to feel a little pain.
You wanted them to suffer. Oh, we got a blackout on you.
3 months later, after trading Luka, you've been handed this lifeline.
How we doing, LG? We just went dark. It's just me. Hey. Hola.
Oh, that means you get.
Yeah, can we get Puma back on?
You get all the screen time tonight. That's actually better because.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It was pointed out to me in a comment that we went 50 minutes Monday night before we actually got to the NBA talk. So hopefully tonight we can get to it a little quicker. But as always, we start with what I watched last night, and I think you can already guess what it was.
The Dallas.
It's that Stars hockey, and the
Hattie.
With Winnipeg having home ice advantage, last night's game was I'm never the guy that's going to say no game is a must win ever unless it's an elimination game. Mm-hmm. Like there's just, if you're up 2-1 in a series like the Stars were going into the game last night, that's not a must win. If you're down 2-1 like Winnipeg was, that's not a must-win game because you're not going to be eliminated.
But you've already put the stat out there that 60%, times if you're down 1-3, you have a 40% chance to win.
But you still have a chance, and even with
that's a big chance.
Even the NBA,
damn near coin flip.
If you're down 3-1 in a series in the NBA, you have a 4.5% chance of winning. That's still.
It's a chance.
That's 13,
it's happened. The
13
Spurs
teams
did it.
that have done it. Right.
The Spurs did it with. I think the Pistons. Did we do that in the finals? We were down 3-1.
Sounds right. Off the top of my head.
And I know LeBron with the Cavs did it, but that's because Draymond Green did a Draymond Green and, decided to technical him out and get suspended for a game.
Yeah, I've actually got some Draymond in the lightning round because he got hit with another a fine.
Oh.
But this one, I think you might actually have a point. But last night, it was Stars up 2-1 in the series. Game 4 in Dallas. Still got to travel back to Winnipeg for Game 5, and if there's a Game 7. So you don't have home ice. If you lose last night, the series is tied 2-2. It's a best-of-3 series at that point, and 2 of those 3 games are in Winnipeg.
So do they do 2-3-2?
They do 2-2-1-1-1.
So, but that was Game 5 last night.
That was 4.
That was Game 4?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was the second.
So 3-1. Yes.
Yeah.
Game 4. Okay.
Yeah. So Dallas ends up winning. Ironically, winning 3-1.
I heard there was not supposed to be math on this test.
Well, it doesn't have to be math if you don't try to do it. We spent all that time Monday night talking about the legend of Mikko Rantanen and all the records he's setting and how great he's been since he got traded to Dallas. Well, last night, first of all, it was the first time all of the full Finnish Mafia, as they call themselves, all of the Finnish players that Dallas has were all healthy and active.
The Finnish Mafia. They really call themselves that.
So the Stars have the starting line for Team Finland.
Oh, Finnish.
Yes.
The play on words.
Yeah, there it is. There it is. We got to brush you up on your hockey. But last night,
silly Finns.
It was, they are extremely silly, and I kind of love it. I kind of love everything about that culture, the great Kimi Räikkönen. But last night, it was another one of the Finnish Mafia members, Mikael Granlund, another guy that they picked up right before the trade deadline.
Yeah.
He's traditionally been a glue guy his whole career, everywhere he's been. He's had some
Just a role player.
Yeah, he's had some bigger offensive seasons at different stops, but I think he's played for like 6 teams in the last 8 years, 8 years. So he's bounced around a lot, but he's always been productive, and he's always been a guy. He's kind of, I think the best way to put it is,
maybe like the Robert Ory.
1,000%. He's a guy that is great to have on a team that has winning aspirations, but on a team that's not going anywhere, He's kind of just a guy. But you surround him with great players, and all of a sudden
he could be that last piece.
He can be the last piece. He can rise to the moment. And last night, buddy, out of nowhere,
with the Hattie,
we got the Hattie. We got another Hattie in the series. Mikael Granlund goes for all three last night, and the Stars go up 3-1. And I know people that have followed me, listened to me for a while. One clip, one former drop you will know and recognize. We used it every day, used it all the time. It was the great Anton Hudobin, a guy that used to play like independently, like below minor league, not even, like how in baseball they have, official minor league teams,
AAA,
and
AA.
then you have your independent league.
Okay.
Unaffiliated.
That's like the Dominican League.
Or like the that. Fort Worth Cats or the Cleburne Railroaders. They were all independent league teams. So Hudobin played for a minor league team in Houston for a while. I think it was the Houston Aeros before he latched on with an organization and slowly worked his way up. Well, going back to the bubble year, 2020, when the Stars made the Stanley Cup final, it was Anton Hudobin that led them at goalie, and we got this glorious drop as he is decked out in full chain. He just got. It's like they give the to the player of the game, and then you've got to say a few words. Well, Hudobin is Kazakhstani. He's from Kazakhstan.
He's Bruno.
He's basically okay. Yeah, I mean, for lack of a better description, he's a bit Borat. He's a bit Borat, yeah. But he's fluent, spoke mostly Russian. But we got this greatness after his performance in a game in the 2020 bubble. You have that, LG?
That is just a work chain too.
We're not going home.
It's so Russian. Dude.
It's so great. Everything about it is Bond villain.
We're not going home.
And the passion. I mean, everything about it is spectacular. And
I think I've kicked some people out at bars that said the exact same thing
as they're mumbling.
We're not going home.
Well, you don't have to go home, but you got to get out of here.
I was like, you want to bet?
Yeah, they had. That was because they were in the bubble.
Yeah.
That was him saying, we're not leaving Canada. We're not leaving the bubble.
That's where their bubble was.
We're not going home yet because they had just won the series and advanced to the Stanley Cup final. So last night at the game, Hudobin back in the arena, and we got this greatness on the PA mic.
Hyping up the crowd.
You're not losing after that.
I will tell you, that stadium was rocking. Yeah. Oh, my God. After that second goal.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, man, it was going crazy. And then when the Hattie came, like, you saw the camera shaking because the stadium was probably shaking itself.
We talked about it a little on Monday night where I was trying to convince you, like, if you haven't been to a Dallas Stars game.
It's a good time.
It's for the money. Of any, I mean, granted, now the Rangers have the air-conditioned stadium, which is pretty nice. But
that's nice.
If you're traveling to DFW for one specific sporting event, well, now the Mavs are going to have Cooper Flagg, so you might want to see him play too. But if you're going just for the love of sports, go to a Stars game. And, I mean, obviously, playoff
So you're telling me it's one of those premier stadiums
it feels like a crowd similar to like a European soccer crowd. I mean, it's
nice.
Without
it
the
looked
chance.
It looked like it.
It's wild. And again, a bit of a homer, but compare the crowd tomorrow night. Now, granted, Winnipeg's going to be going crazy because they're facing elimination.
They're going to be booing our anthem and everything.
They're still Canadian. I mean,
you're supposed to be nice,
It's
man.
a polite booing. It's a polite booing from Lose the Peg.
No disrespect, but boo.
But you have to understand. We have to boo.
Yeah, we have to boo.
I don't know why the Winnipeg. It's because LG was telling me about his trip to Quebec and Montreal. So now I've got French Canadian on on my brain.
Vive la France! I was like, Winnipeg's on the west coast.
Winnipeg is dead north of us.
Dead north.
You just go straight north.
So, man, right above the Dakotas, huh?
Yeah. Dead north.
It's
more of a. It's not as cowboy as Calgary, but it's more rural than.
Remember I told you about that Blackberry show that had Sweet Dennis from Always Sunny in
Oh
Philadelphia?
yeah, good old Sweet D.
Yeah, like I think he was trying to move the whole the owner of Blackberry. Long story short, he tried to buy a hockey team and move the Pittsburgh Penguins when they said the one thing he couldn't do was move them. I think he was trying to move them somewhere right above the Dakotas.
Well,
Like that.
Yeah. I mean, Winnipeg's had a team, lost a team, got a team back.
Oh, okay.
Like they've been a multi-stop NHL city for a while. So
they're in Oakland.
basically, it's too valuable of a city to not try to keep making it work. But hopefully, Stars now up 3-1 in the series. I don't anticipate a win tomorrow night just because, hockey, I mean, like we were talking about the stats, a hockey team playing for its life is unlike any other playoff sport. I mean, they're going to give it everything they have.
Bring that guy with you. You might just win it again.
Well, I was about to say,
storm
maybe,
the PA system.
Yeah, have Anton's return to Canada.
We're going home.
You are going home. Yeah. Elsewhere in the NHL, keeping a close eye on that Oilers-Vegas series. Oilers now up 3-1. Of course, that's who winner of that would be who plays winner of Stars-Jets. So I don't believe in sports jinxes, so I'll just say it.
So you don't want to talk about who is their next opponent?
Look, nothing I say here tonight is going to change the outcome
I know
of
exactly.
any NHL game played over the next month. So
I don't know how many times I said no team has ever come back from 0-3 in the Boston Yankees series.
But it had nothing to do with you saying it.
It was me.
No, it had everything to do with the
me.
players on the field and the managers making the decisions and the calls to the bullpen arms not holding up.
repented.
It had nothing to do.
I repented with the nine tails.
That drives. That's one of my biggest sports pet peeves. The guy, like I have a friend who, if the game isn't going well through the first quarter, he changes his seat in the room. Like he's like, I can't sit there anymore.
I bring a couple hats.
I
bring a couple hats. I bring a couple jerks.
Oh,
yeah. But that's football, and that's only in playoffs will I do that.
Oh, superstitions only apply to playoff games.
Yeah,
it makes.
I repented.
It makes solid logical sense.
I pissed off the baseball gods, man.
Well, as I said Monday night, the sports gods just continue to deliver for us because. Elsewhere in the NHL, we have a toss-up of a series. I haven't checked to see what the score is tonight. I saw Florida had already scored a couple times, but
it seems like Florida's going to take that one.
Well, if you remember, I mean, last year it was Florida won it all, and they've only gotten better. They ended up beating Edmonton, where it looks right now. It looks like we're probably headed for a rematch of the Western Conference Finals last year. Of Stars and Oilers, which is a great, takes me back to the 90s in my childhood, some of those playoff series. And then on the East side, or on the Eastern Conference side of things, the Panthers look unstoppable. And it looks like they are headed right back to the Stanley Cup final. Yeah, 4-0 now. Okay. Yeah, that's to be expected. And the Canes are leading the Caps 3-1. The Caps had the best record in hockey this year.
I was about
Capitals,
to ask you that, like who was the favored ones going into the
Capitals were the best regular season record. Winnipeg was second. Mm-hmm. Dallas might have held on to third. I don't think they got past for third. Dallas and Winnipeg were going back and forth, and then Winnipeg pulled away at the end when Dallas had the injuries.
So Dallas is no Cinderella.
No, I mean they were in the conference finals last year.
Yeah.
They were in the Stanley Cup finals in 2020, 5 years ago. Really, since that run,
and they picked up your boy Mikko.
Yeah, Mikko. I mean, this is the team had. They've had like Joe Pavelski was there for the runs over the last 4 years. This is his first year retired. So they've lost a few guys along the way, but they haven't added anybody close to Mikko throughout this run. So hopefully
he was the last piece.
Hopefully, or hell, again, maybe it was Granlund who they picked up a month. They traded the Star the same day the Mavs did the Luka trade. The Stars did the trade for Granlund and Cece, the defenseman that they also got in the same deal, who's started every game or been active every game of the playoffs.
So you got Dallas. It's like, sorry, we did Luka, but look, we did something with the Stars.
Well, it almost
y'all calm down.
To be completely honest,
a little bit.
like the Stars did it all for hockey reasons, no question.
Yeah.
But there's a big part of me that thinks the Stars looked and they're like, look, the Mavs are losing fans by the hour.
Oh,
the iron is hot. The iron is hot. And no one's ever, you're not going to convert. Like my grandma loves basketball. She played half-court basketball in Tolar, Texas as a high schooler, back when the girls were only fit to play half-court. Right.
They can't handle
in poodle
full court.
skirts. Exactly. And she was a pioneer. I mean, she was I put the photo out earlier of the hoop I learned to shoot on. That's my grandparents'
like
house.
old Larry Bird.
Yeah, that was. I learned basketball from my mom and my grandma because they were both studs. Were really, really good at the sport. But you're never going to convince my grandma to shift her attention to hockey over basketball. They weren't winning her over by making the Granlund and Mikko trades.
Yeah, it's not like me where baseball, football is my top two. Basketball is obviously her top one because
1,000%. Yeah. Outside of her beloved Cowboys.
Oh,
but you got to, my grandma's seen. She's
there's something in the water up in
the Cowboys. Well, something in the water is Tom Landry and the success of the 1970s. Or Captain America, Roger Staubach. That's her Cowboys. Everything she's had to deal with under Jerry is. It's tested her fandom, but every Sunday, every Monday, Thursday, or Sunday, she's there.
Smiles and glory holes.
Yeah. Oh. So Game 5, Stars Jets tomorrow night up in Winnipeg. Another one of these. I love one of my favorite things about the first couple rounds of the NBA and NHL playoffs, knowing that just about every night for 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks straight, I'm getting a live sporting event that matters tipping off or dropping puck at 9 p.m.
You're getting a packed stadium.
As a night owl.
You're getting that energy.
Dude, that's perfect for me.
It's like when I saw Dallas, man, it hyped me up seeing all those people just go crazy. And it reminds me, I remember I was in Game 5 of the finals, the first finals, 2013, when we didn't win, when Manu Ginobili just had himself. He went back in time and had himself a game, and they started chanting Ginobili so loud the floor started vibrating. And I will never forget that atmosphere. And when I see it on TV, it just brings me right back to that.
Yeah, you can't replicate, for all of the bad basketball you watch through the first 82 games. Once it gets to the playoffs, I mean,
that's when it gets serious.
Yeah, it's impossible to replicate the high that you get from that. Something else, not something I watched per se, but something new that I've been listening to this week. I want to do this every now and then. So the roommate and I have this bit where each month we buy each other an album. So a vinyl. So it's how we grow our collection. She buys something I know, or she knows I'll like, and vice versa. I buy her something I know she'll like. So that being said, are any of you boys familiar with the Viagra Boys?
They look strong.
Okay, let me ask you this. Based off just looking at the album cover, what kind of music do you think we're getting here?
I would say techno. I would say something like that, like dubstep.
Here, I'll give you the back.
Now you got that looks Americana, so I'm thinking punkish.
Okay. Yeah. You're a little closer.
You got the raisin. You got the California raisin there.
The California
80s new age.
That's a good guess.
Like
okay, there you go.
Okay, so I will say LG is probably the closest. They are a Swedish punk band, but the lead singer is the only American in the band. He's a dude, California kid named Sebastian, who
with an American name.
Well, he's Swedish. He's of Swedish descent, so he growing up in SoCal, ends up getting into some shit, getting into some drugs and whatnot,
the old rock and roll story.
He who hasn't sinned
cocaine.
cast the first
I will
stone.
not be throwing any rocks.
That's correct. So his parents send him to go live with like an aunt back in Sweden.
Oh.
So the first thing he does is he gets real deep into the Swedish punk scene.
Yeah.
And he starts to go on all these club shows. Swedish punk is like
Isn't punk like crazy over there?
Oh,
like
it's
in
insane.
that all like
It's
North Europe,
all the Scandinavian
the death metal.
Oh yeah. So this is more, when I say punk, it's a lot of like traditional what you think of when you hear the word punk, but like LG was guessing, it's more like Devo punk.
Or like it's synthesizers.
Very much so.
Like
synthesize, like Devo, kind of new wave.
Little
but
riffs, like little corny, like
very,
jingle riffs.
Yeah, very tight, short riffs, just repeated over and over.
Was it the Swedes that did what did the fox say?
I think they were Swedish. I'm pretty sure.
They put out some music.
The one
Crazy
band
music.
that, from like my like high school era, the one Swedish band that really crossed over was the Hives. They were huge, and so these guys tour with them a lot. But they just put this new album out last 2 weeks ago, and it finally arrived on vinyl to our house. And I don't say this lightly. I think Devo.
So she ordered it.
She ordered it straight from the.
Wow.
Always order from the artist, so they get the money. The
Very cool.
Devo is probably the closest comparison, but it's like if Devo and Butthole Surfers formed a band together. So you've got these Devo-like riffs, but then you've got like
The ska.
a surfer, the Butthole Surfer kind of voice style. It's very monotone. It's very almost talkative. Yeah, we can't play, but I
we could play it.
highly suggest.
I'm sure they'll rise to the occasion.
Oh, you think? God, I knew we weren't. I knew we weren't going to make it through this without at least one joke.
Man,
I would say
it won't go soft on you, man. They go hard.
There's two. Oh, I'll give you a 2.5.
That was a rebound.
That's
That was the
it was a
offensive
tip
rebound
in.
and a tip in.
That might have been offensive goaltending. No, I don't say this lightly. They have creeped in. They've only
That's
been
what she
around since like 2017, 18.
Okay.
But I think they are firmly in my top 20 bands. Hold it together. They have shot up my personal rankings. And they are firmly entrenched inside the top 20 of my all-time band.
You seemed engorged on their music.
Oh, now did you pull a hamstring stretching so bad for that one? Now we've hit.
Oh man!
Now we've hit.
My face is gonna be red after this.
Yeah, that's.
It's already red.
I think I'll do that every now.
That's good.
Last thought.
That's good local artist stuff, man.
Well, and it's you.
Do they tour in and
they've gotten big now. Like they played
they're
Coachella
big.
this
Oh,
year,
okay.
but they used to like their last American tour. They were the opener for Queens of the Stone Age.
Oh,
so
wow.
it's
Yeah,
that
so
same
they're
kind of
big.
rock
Okay.
vein,
I was like, I knew a couple little local venues. I was like, man, we might be able to get them here.
Not at this. I wish. The you mentioned local though. Like they're a band that should be played on a local radio station. Like it's a band. I think this city blends well with the punk metal leanings of San
Do we
Antonio.
even have a college radio station? Because it,
yeah.
it ain't going on Kiss.
Yeah, no. Trust me. No, those they're not playing.
They're set. They're set for the next 40 years.
Yeah, that's classic rock at this point, really. There's still the Trinity radio station, the one Mayor Ron used to run when he was a student there.
I did not know that.
LG, I forgot. I neglected to mention at the top. I want to get your thoughts on a video game you told me you played that I'm about to jump into. But before we do, tell the good people how they can get a hold of us and how they can support.
Well, excuse me. You can get a hold of us by chatting in right here on Sports Cave Live on YouTube. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button as well, so we can get this show in everyone's algorithm. And if you'd like to leave a tip, we've also got buymeacoffee.com/sportscavelive. And Shout out to the one dude who just bought 3 coffees in there. He says, "Cheers, boys. Appreciate you."
Hey,
Oh,
cheers
man.
right back. Love to hear it.
Thank you, man. You get a nip for a tip. I'm playing.
I was about to say that might put us on another platform.
No one wants to see that.
No, LG. I think it was
anything with nipples.
I think it was off air Monday. I think it was after we had finished the show when I asked you the game that I have had multiple people send me text, or one friend of mine actually called me, which is rare to get an actual phone call these days. But he swore to me that this game that just came out is now possibly his favorite game of all time. And I'm talking, make sure I get the name correct.
A video game.
It's a French-developed game, but it's a French-developed game.
Vive la France!
But it's a Japanese RPG, and it's called Claire Obscure Expedition 33.
Oh my god.
Yes.
That's so Japanese.
But
Yeah, that's
also
what it's
so
called.
French,
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Claire Obscure.
Claire Obscure.
A good movie on French. District B13.
Solid.
Yeah, solid parkour movie.
Yeah, I don't.
Parkour.
I don't. Look, the French gave us Justice and Daft Punk. I don't mind the French.
bonjour.
But we saved their ass in WW2.
Oh, who is this joining us now? Do we have? Let me tell you.
Let me tell you right
No,
now. here, bud.
so have you played any more through it? Because you told me you played through the prologue, and it was genuinely emotional.
I actually live streamed it on Twitch at LG's house on Twitch, and you can check that out. And I almost shed a tear at the end of the prologue, and I haven't played it since, but I need to get back up on there. And I don't want to give any of the details away because the story is just like gripping, and it's a turn-based strategy game, and I'm usually not into those, but the story alone has me wanting to play more. Just need to find the time.
Oh, you sensitive soul, you.
Dude, it was pretty
The
gripping.
prologue.
It was
you
pretty
over here-
gripping.
You sure you just weren't sweating in this house?
Well, the AC is struggling right now. It's 115 in San Antonio, but
Speaking of AC, we're having a good friend of mine come out to check his AC tomorrow. I'm gonna give him a free plug real quick. His name is Roland. It's Ramirez Services. You can call him at 210-904-4246. He's the best in the business. I've used him for over a dozen years, and he's gonna come hook up Lawrence's AC because
don't be me.
I
Get your AC done.
yeah, don't wait. He's like, oh, well, it's been waning, and I'm like, dude, there's about to be 6 more months of this, and I'm not gonna sit in this hot ass house.
Yeah, there's no waning.
big for that.
There's no. Cap doesn't do waning. Cap does. It's either fixed or it's broken.
Yeah, it's like we're fixing it now.
Cap's got it at like 60 at his house all day.
Man, 69. Come on.
Only appropriate. Yeah. The
69,
the thing that jumped out to me most about you mentioned how great the story is so far. It feels like as we all wait for Grand Theft Auto 6 next year.
I can't wait.
Or the new Borderlands coming up in the fall. I think it's September.
Or the open world Mario Kart that's coming out on the 5th of June.
Exactly.
I'm down for that.
As all of these big budget games are, on the docket, somehow this little French developed game, they sell it for $50 and it might be the game of the year. So like there's rumors that GTA might cost $100 by the time it's released next May.
Nowadays, you have to spend like $300 on in-game content anyway. Like,
Is the game even going to be finished? They're going to have to release like 20 patches for it.
That's not something
it's coming out
Rockstar
right
does.
before Christmas.
They
Oh,
usually-
Rockstars, they're solid.
Yeah,
Rockstar's usually
Solid like a rock.
they'll solid like a Viagra Boy album.
They're not going to cyberpunk us.
No, they're not. They're no CD Project Red. Although they've gotten a little better about it. But
What platform was that RPG little game that you were crying on, Lawrence?
It's on everything.
yeah, it's out on everything.
It's on
yeah.
everything.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Except Switch.
I've got it.
I'm gonna watch that prologue and just make fun of you.
It feels like a game that
You're gonna cry. You're gonna call me and be like, "Oh my god!"
Unless it's like a
can't
dog that
continue.
dies. Unless there's like a dog that dies, and I don't know. You're
I'm
gonna
not
get
gonna
some
no
tears
spoil
out.
spoilers.
it. I'm not
No
spoiling.
spoil.
it.
Hey, I don't know. How would I know?
No, that's what I'm saying.
A French RPG
They have it on PS.
and
You
like
can get
Japan
it.
RPG.
Yeah. It's
No.
on Game Pass for those of you who have Xbox and have Game Pass, so you don't have to actually buy the game.
Yeah, I have it. I have it downloaded on the PS5, and I'm something else I was talking to LG about. I think we're about to get back up and rolling on the old gaming Twitch streams because it's the summer, and we're about to have some nights where the only sport on TV is baseball. And I love my Rangers. Big series. It's starting against the Astros tomorrow.
Ooh.
But
who's at home?
In Arlington, I think it's
in Arlington.
Pretty sure on that.
We should make a drive up there. I want to see that stadium. But it's already 103 degrees out, so that's not going to happen.
I saw they had the roof closed. We're actually going to talk. Their Rangers are playing the Rockies tonight, and had some Rockies thoughts in the lightning round because they're just such an embarrassment to the game right now. But before I turn it over to y'all for what y'all watched, the last thing I have to admit, one of my biggest vices in life is, like, I was raised on C-SPAN. I was raised watching C-SPAN. I was raised watching my dad flipping around to not just locked into one specific news channel. All of them. Oh. It would be, we'd go 5 minutes on CNN, 5 minutes on Fox, 5 minutes on CNBC, MSNBC, whatever. Like, he just bounced around because he wanted, he was mayor at 28 years old. He's a city councilman again now.
I'm trying to do your age right now because 24-hour news wasn't really a thing until the OJ trial.
Buddy, my parents had me quite young. Quite young. Yeah, I mean, my dad is 20 years older than me.
Oh man. Yeah.
So it was a lot of watching 90s cable television. Watching episodes of Crossfire right after SportsCenter, stuff like that. So as I find myself now at 39 years old, YouTube TV rolled out the quad box. And it's beautiful. It's been great for all kinds of sports. But usually at first it was just all the same sport. Mm-hmm. So you could get 4 college football games on at all day on Saturdays. Mm-hmm. It was great. And then they rolled it out where, now we'll let you... Now you can watch, I've been doing quad boxes of the NBA and NHL playoff games. Yeah. Spectacular. Great.
I did that yesterday, 2 of them.
It's perfect.
Not the quad, but the double.
Yeah, double boxing with
double
those.
Box.
They've rolled out a cable news quad box.
Oh, how much crap can you just absorb?
So here's the problem.
Like, just the talking heads just...
So the four it includes
the cheapest drug there is.
Fox News, CNN, MSNBC, but then BBC News. So it's really...
I like to watch a good BBC.
That's my... If I'm actually watching... I watch them for entertainment.
I want to see what those
fun.
limey bastards think of us.
Yeah, well, not much these days, buddy.
Much, I know.
They, although their own president's coming down a bit of a hardline stance on some of their own issues that liberals have let run crazy over there. But it's always fun to see the juxtaposition of what the different ones are talking about.
Yeah.
So like while Fox News is running whatever kind of cover or attack on Democrats, MSNBC's doing the same thing in reverse. CNN's trying to be like, no, look, I swear we're not biased. We just want to report the news.
They started playing Bill Maher on Saturdays.
Exactly. Yeah, and then in the bottom right corner is an actual news program, not an entertainment program, and that's the BBC. And so normally I keep the audio on BBC, but I just like to see what the other stations are fighting amongst themselves.
Yeah, because the graphics go so hard because the news used to be just the news, and then you get the reporter, and then you might get a picture here and there. But nowadays it's graphics with the ticker at the bottom.
Oh yeah, no,
and then they got the countdown. It's like they're just trying to come at you with so much theatrical.
It looks like a Twitch stream.
Yeah,
it's like it looks like a professional, like one of these.
It's like Live Golf.
Yeah, or like Live, exactly. But I think on the other podcast I do with Texas Radio Hall of Famer Bama Brown, I think I told him at the beginning of the year one of my New Year's resolutions was to watch less cable news because I'm just a junkie for it. The quad box has destroyed that resolution.
You
It's
watch
over.
that. You watch the quad box with the news.
The first thing I do every morning, I wake up and I turn the quad
I
box
thought you were
of
going
the
to say your
news
dad
on.
watched this.
Oh no, buddy! This is
you.
This is 39-year-old version of my dad. This is like,
Oh man, dude! I wonder if there's like when there's some serious update, which one gets it first, and you're sitting there just like taking
It's
bets.
fine. Yeah, no,
I wonder if FanDuel's gonna come out with which one's gonna drop it first. Who's gonna fact check?
Poly market. You can bet, and that's the other thing. I got to stop betting on politics. I have a much better track. I have a much better hits record betting on sports than I do politics.
You got a problem, sir.
We all knew that.
But
Cap.
Poly
We
Market,
all knew
please
that.
support our show. We will take your sponsor.
Yeah, no, we're more than happy to do a live read. Quickly before I give it to you, it's funny you are wearing a Bob Ross shirt tonight because last night at the bar when the roommate and I were watching the hockey game, it was a 3 TV setup. Left TV, NBA, far right TV, NHL, and right in the middle was just a 24-hour Bob Ross channel.
Oh, sweet Samsung.
And it
That's
got me, yeah, Samsung TV.
man.
Exactly, it's exactly what it
that
is.
was on my household for about 4 years. I switched it to Pawn Stars recently just because
So the other
I
one,
needed something new.
the other one the bar has been playing, which is one of my favorite pastimes in life, watching episodes of Cheaters and trying to figure out what part, like what Golden Corral in Dallas he was taking his side piece to, because it was all, Joey Greco
Yeah, it was always
doing
in Dallas.
it's somewhere in DFW.
I just remember him getting stabbed on the boat and
Yeah,
then just like going white. Oh, his light flashing before his eyes. But he was a master black belt.
At least he said.
You don't want to mess with me, buddy.
Yeah. But the Bob Ross shirt is hilarious because last night I got into a
I make these
conversation.
myself.
Well, you might have a hustle on the side there. I got into I got intrigued at the idea of buying a Bob Ross painting because doing all of those episodes, all those years, the paintings have to be out there.
Oh,
They've got to be. So I will say, I'm going to test you guys. The lowest I found that I could have purchased last night at the bar, it was still too rich for my. It was like $8 grand. It's like $8,000.
God, man, I thought it
But-
would be like at least like maybe $1,000 or $2.
I kind of because he did so many of them.
So many. He had to do some on his spare time too.
I
You know what
I
I'm
told the
saying?
roommate last night, if there's one for under $1,000, I'm buying it right now.
Yeah.
Like and this. It's probably a good thing I didn't find one because
I'm
I
buying
would
it right
I
now.
would have woken up in the morning like $850 for what? A Bob Ross? No,
You would have overdrafted.
1,000%, at least on my account. But the interesting, what do you take? I want to hear both y'all guess. What do you think the most expensive Bob Ross painting ever sold was?
LG, you go first. I'm Price is Right. I'm a master.
$100,000.
$100K. Am I going under? Are we playing Price is Right rules?
No, we'll give closest to the pin.
Closest name. All right. I was going to say 0, but
That's just too much. Well, no. Hey,
let's go.
Say 0.
No, let's go. I'm going to go $250,000. I'm going 250.
I was as shocked as you guys are about to be. The painting from his first episode ever.
Oh,
The
man, that's
first
gotta be so
episode
much.
of Bob Ross paints or whatever, just Bob Ross. $10 million.
We went way low.
Damn.
Way low, man.
$10 million.
I wonder how much
That
he
old
jumped when
lady
he
made
died.
$10 million out that painting?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, if you
Poor
saw-
Bob.
If you saw the documentary,
Poor
yeah.
Bob's son. Poor Bob, like
Poor Bob's whole estate.
he did mountains better than Bob, as he liked to say.
Well, and all Bob wanted to do was, I just want to paint, y'all. Like,
You've all heard the story of like each paintings where he has a dead body.
Of course. Yeah, there's so many. There's as many great Bob Ross conspiracies as there are Chuck Norris jokes.
No, man, he took out some people in Vietnam. He couldn't handle it anymore, man.
He did what he had to. And we saved the French there too. No, I'm kidding. What else y'all watching, or what else y'all watch
Well,
before we move on here?
I told LG earlier, he came by because I stayed up till, man, I could not go to sleep last night, and I watched probably like a whole season of Ted Lasso.
Yeah, I can't believe that. How do you stay up that late watching that crappy of a show.
It's not that bad, man. I mean,
all right.
it's the same joke, but it's fine.
Yeah, it's all right.
But you've
It's
never
fine.
watched it.
I watched 2.5 episodes.
The
I get
first
it.
season is
You get it?
okay.
I get it.
But then it gets old. It's real. Yeah.
But it gets to like it also has sports. So like while they're doing like the cheesy episodes and character
The coolest
building,
thing to me is
it's like
seeing
when's the next match?
The coolest thing is seeing the culture over there. That's
Yeah.
I mean, after the joke's old, it's just seeing the different culture over
But
there.
they do have some episodes like where Beard, the assistant coach, goes off on his random trip where he
Beard's
sits
great.
there.
I'll give that. That's
Yeah.
the best character in
Yeah.
the show. My favorite character, at least.
Beard is amazing.
great.
And I got to right where Zaba. They got Zaba in season 3, and then I
Yeah.
finally started passing out when the lights. when the
7
sun came
a.m.
in.
watching Ted Lasso.
Oh man,
I think
God.
popping Tylenol PMs.
I think that's worse than me watching a cable news quad box. Is watching multiple
man.
hours consecutively of Ted
I will
Lasso.
not concede that. I will not concede that. There might be a
about all
debate,
that.
but
Didn't they? Aren't they they're doing another season?
yeah, I think they're doing
And that's
one
it.
more. That's
That's
why I
the
was
last
like,
one, yeah.
I was like, oh, let me rewatch it because I'm gonna watch the last season to see how they like wrap it up and stuff, you know. But it's a good quality show, and I like the Roy effing Kent.
Look, I think we need throwaway television is good. It feels
Yeah.
like everything has become either ultimate prestige television
Breaking Bad.
or it is really trash reality like Love Island.
Where you
or
can, you play on your phone while you're watching.
1,000%. Like that middle ground of just throwaway television, but it's still good. I mean, it's entertaining.
I have a problem.
That middle class is gone.
Like I watch a season the quality one, like Breaking Bad, I watch it all the way through. But like I was like in season 5 of Sons of Anarchy, and then I just stopped watching it. You know, it was probably right when it started getting a little dumb.
Look,
you know,
and
then
again,
I'm just like, I never finished.
I'm the
it.
worst at that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's another show I watched 2.5 episodes of and said, I got it.
Sons of Anarchy?
Yeah, I'm
Oh.
good. I think I see what's happening
Sweet Jax Teller, man. No, man. People said I looked like Opie back in the day when I was a little skinnier and a little longer hair.
here. I didn't know if you were going old Opie from Andy Griffith or whatever. LG, you got anything before we move on?
What am I watching? I started rewatching A Cook's Tour. I don't know if you've ever seen that.
Ooh, educate me.
It was a travel show on the New York Times Food Network in 2002 is what the network was called. It eventually became the Food Network, and it's a little young man called Anthony Bourdain's first show ever.
Oh, there he goes.
First show ever called A Cook's Tour.
What do you get? What are you watching that on?
It's on Prime.
Huh?
Yeah,
Prime.
it's
Man,
on Prime.
I never remember to go to Prime. I
Yeah.
never think about it.
I watched Prime. There's a good show. It's a little fantasy RPG. My friend put me on the Wheel of Time books. It's 14 books that are like between
think I remember the
700.
Where do you
books.
find time to watch all these damn shows, dude? Like,
Well, that one's
you
like
stay
only
up
8
till 7
episodes.
a.m. You don't sleep.
Yeah,
That's what
there
it
you
is.
go.
Okay.
Like, I like my TV, man.
Well, you're hating on the French RPG game, but you're sitting here
See, that's the
watching.
thing. I don't play
Wheels,
video games.
The Wheels of Time.
The Wheel of Time. First off, you
there's
check yourself. I invested 3 years of reading those damn books.
Good God.
3 years of reading those books, man. I swear, like when my friend gave it to me, I was like, oh, nice. I was like, I need a good book to read. And he's like, here, start this one. And I read it, and I was like, man, that ended on a cliffhanger. And he's like, yeah, there's 13 more. And I was like, you mother.
Yeah.
So there's 3 years of my life.
Yeah, he's got you roped in at
He
that.
wrote me in, man.
God, I bet you read all of the Redwall series too back as a kid.
I don't know what that is.
Okay.
I didn't read when I was a kid. I read, like, I got the George Costanza thing where it's like I hear my voice in my head and like it'll put me to sleep.
Oh,
Yes.
your inner monologue.
My inner
knocks
monologue.
you out?
I read it at 4th grade level most likely, but it's getting better. Like a book takes me a long time to read.
Did either of y'all see the pictures of Nicolas Cage and Christian Bale as John Madden and Al Davis?
Yes. I was like, man, I saw that right before I came over here and I almost sent it to you and be like,
Yeah.
but
I'm
you,
in.
you always yell at me to be like,
Dude, Cage looks just like Madden.
dude, Bale.
Nick Cage, both of those.
Bale looks good too. Yeah, Bale, but you'd expect Bale to look the part.
Oh, yeah.
But Cage, I mean, he put on some weight for the role.
No, man. I mean, that's like the Penguin. Like, if Colin Farrell can look like that in the Penguin, they can
I
make
don't know.
anybody look like anything.
I don't know.
I don't think he put on weight. I think that's a fat suit.
I feel like if Nick Cage just hadn't done 80% of the movies that he did, we would view him like he's an Academy Award-winning actor.
He got in debt. He started buying like
Dinosaur bones.
Yeah, dinosaur bones. He bought castles
He
in
bought
Europe.
that. He bought that haunted mansion in New Orleans.
Yeah. He was just spending money, and then I think he started getting divorced and losing all his assets. And they're like, "You got to make money." He better start going making these straight to DVD movies. And I worked at Blockbuster when he started doing that, and I'm like, "Man,
those were so bad."
I was like, "Man, Nick Cage is putting out a lot of content."
He still is.
No.
It says right here in this article I had up. It says Nick Cage is taking a break from making movies to make yet another movie.
That's like The Onion.
yeah, exactly. Or the B. That kind of checks out. Well, we'll close the door on what I watched and move into and dag nabbit, it's 50 minutes till we get to the main segment. I swear we're gonna get tighter.
You love us,
bear
guys.
with us. Bear
you
with
love
us.
our banter.
Going back to Monday night. Of course, we talked a lot. Talked a lot of hypotheticals of what could now, some options, some routes that are available to turn this thing into a contender overnight, a la Giannis trade. But now, if reports are to be believed, and I think one of these reports is more believable than the other. The first one, we got Tim McMahon on ESPN today saying with absolute certainty the Mavs will be keeping the pick and, of course, taking Cooper Flagg.
I mean, Nico, I don't think he can pull his wild card out again.
No, I think he's lost control to just make a move without having someone else involved. LG, you have that clip? This was the great Tim McMahon, who's taken a lot of flack from Mavs fans over the years.
What's he? Is he a Mavs beat writer, or is he? Is he kind of shefty?
No, he's now I think he technically he used to be a Mavs beat writer and he still covers the Mavs, but I think he's a Southwest NBA reporter.
So with that number one overall pick now, does Dallas keep it? Do they trade it for a guy like Giannis? What are you hearing?
Yeah, and I understand that there's going to be speculation about Giannis. This type of historically dominant player potentially being available on the trade market. What I can tell you is Patrick Dumont, the governor of the Dallas Mavericks, recognizes the gift horse that was delivered this franchise that, frankly, after the Luka Doncic trade, had massive business concerns, had significant long-term concerns with him owing the picks from 27 to 30, either outright or via swaps. He recognizes just how much Cooper Flagg would help mitigate those concerns. Again, it's a gift horse. The Mavericks are not going to look in the mouth. The Dallas Mavericks will be picking Cooper Flagg with the number one overall pick.
He could have shortened that by like 30 words.
Well, he's got to stretch for the TV hit.
Yeah, he's like, nah, they're keeping Flagg.
So that's
There's a governor in each team.
They don't call them owners in the NBA.
Oh my god.
Now that the Trumpsters
because it's majority black.
Just because ownership has a certain connotation that if we just call them governors,
I own you, Aaron Rodgers with Chicago.
It makes the world a better place if we just call them governors. I mean, it's the NBA. What do you expect?
The whites ruin
that's
everything.
About as clear cut as you can get when it comes to the Mavs. They're going to take Cooper Flagg. Rick Welts, the team president, the guy who built the Warriors or helped build the Warriors when he was there, get Curry, Thompson, Draymond. He also in an interview basically confirmed, look, we're taking Flagg. We're not trading the pick. We're keeping it, and everyone knows who we're going to pick. So, number one pick seems like it is off the table for any negotiations. Because there was also the rumor that, the Spurs might try to throw some kind of, Godfather deal at the Mavs to swap picks, to move up to one, to get Flagg. Mavs get two, and, some a lot of other picks and other assets.
Yeah.
But it doesn't. I think that was a pipe dream to begin with.
Nah, like Dallas he would have got roasted.
Of course, they can't do anything like that right now with. Especially,
it would seem like straight sabotage.
Of course, it would only further
only to benefit the Spurs.
Well, it would only further the conspiracy that the new owners really do want to move the team to Vegas.
Yeah,
the NBA is not letting Dallas lose a team.
No,
Vegas is going to get an expansion team, but it's not going to be a team that moves to Vegas. So, also as we shift to the Spurs pick, moving all the way up to second, I listened to the Zach Lowe show. He's back with the Ringer, back with Bill Simmons.
That's where I might have saw something.
Great basketball writer, better basketball writer than podcaster, but great at both. And he was in the room for the draft lottery Monday night when they're pulling the ping pong balls. So the way it works, there were the combination of ping pong balls that had been drawn left it where there was a possibility that like 9 teams could have been the team to get the number 1 pick. And out of those 9 teams, every team had 1 ping pong ball in the final drawing except the Spurs. They had 3. So they had basically a 22% chance.
So we should have got them.
It should have, odds would say.
Damn your Mavs.
I know. Again,
Mavs.
it's only going to fuel further conspiracy. But the Spurs, technically, when it got down, they draw 4 ping pong balls. And when it got down to the 4th one, they had the best odds of any team that was still an option for the first pick.
That raises the hair on the back of my head.
Again, let the conspiracies fly. But as we heard today, we spent a lot of time talking about what the Spurs might do with that number 2 pick, that second overall pick. But we got this report today that might put that fire out pretty quickly.
Yeah, I think I saw the same thing.
I bet you did. It went everywhere. It went viral.
I think we're sold on Dylan Harper. We're sold on Harper.
If the report is to be believed.
Which, keeping Castle.
Yeah.
Keeping Castle, and then we get, we could get 3 Rookie of the Years in a row. If Dylan Harper is that man.
Yeah, it would be.
It could happen.
No question, it could happen. LG, do you have that? I think I sent you that clip with the Spurs reporting. It was they're all reporting from the combine. So you were asking,
Oh yeah, I was watching a little bit.
Yeah.
Of that. Yeah.
Dylan Harper is going to be the number 2 pick in the draft. I am 99.9% sure about it. He looked also really, really good, tested very well, shot it well. His body is in a great place. He's lost 15 pounds in the last years. He's also grown. He has measurements comparable to those of Dwayne Wade coming out of college. The San Antonio Spurs are signaling to teams that they are very excited about the opportunity to draft Dylan Harper. They are not pursuing trades from what we're hearing. They think that they can play Dylan Harper together with Steph Castle and De'Aaron Fox in the same backcourt. Obviously, teams have some question marks about the amount of shooting on that roster. That's something that they are probably going to address at a later stage. Dylan Harper is the second best prospect in this draft. He will go second, I believe.
I feel like they could run with that. It would be a fast-paced, energetic, something that he looks like he had good defense style, sideline to sideline. Stay in front, come off the pick and roll.
Again, in any other draft class of the last, outside, excluding Wemby's class, but taking any other draft class going back to Zion, he would be the number 1 pick in the draft if it wasn't the Cooper Flagg draft.
Yeah.
This would be the Dylan Harper Jr. draft. He is that clearly. He is
Why not take him?
He's clearly a step below Cooper, but he's clearly a step above everybody else in the class.
So as much as I would love to have Giannis and have the Twin Towers back, and you have that, he has playoff pedigree, he has a championship pedigree. I am excited to have young blood in the Spurs that are going to be able to run with the OKC, with the Houston Rockets, with whoever LA gets gifted again and again and again. We're going to have to keep up with them, and we're going to have to keep them young, fast, and defense is key. And I think drafting him, having Steph Castle, De'Aaron Fox, and Wemby, we're right up there.
You're not right up there, but you're right up there in 3 seasons.
Yeah,
maybe.
I'd say 2 seasons. I'd say this season.
With Wemby, everybody's timeline is bumped up, but rarely are you going to.
With the De'Aaron Fox ad,
Sure.
you had the pick and roll.
Sure.
We were already on a roll, and then Wemby got the blood clot. I blame the altitude.
So if we take away the Wemby blood clot and say the Spurs should have been a play-in team this year, the Spurs should have been the 10th
Absolutely.
seed.
Absolutely.
They could have gotten there without Wemby's injury. So Wemby comes back healthy next year. You add 19-year-old Dylan Harper, who's still a 19-year-old learning what it is to be an NBA player. I don't think you're going to see him. If he is inserted into the starting lineup immediately, that would be against usually how the Spurs do things. They didn't do that with Castle. He built up to that.
Yeah.
So I think you're still.
Well, you got Castle he's going to be a starter.
He's your
now.
starter, absolutely.
Yeah, so
It'd
then
be
we got
Fox,
Dylan
Castle.
Then we have Harper off
Then you're filling
the
out
bench.
Right. You're filling out the rest around it.
I think we get Barnes is going to come off the bench. I think we are going to add someone. We're going to add a young big on our 14th pick or move up to get something.
So that's my next. Now that we know the second pick
let's get
is
into the
locked
14th
in,
pick.
Now the question becomes, are you looking to upgrade the rest of the roster using that 14th pick?
I think we absolutely let's throw all those first round picks we got. Let's go get a big that can sit there and run, that will bring youth once again to our team, that is a defender, that is a ball hawk, that is going to sit there and bang down low. And yeah, dude, I think we throw it all in on this draft. And we have the starter, we have the bench, we have at least solid 3-4 players on the bench, and then we can pick pieces of veterans here and there. I think, man, that makes me stoked for years to come.
And we talked about this, Monday night with the debating the better pathway to being a contender of whether, because if you take Harper at 2, you're still realistically saying we're 3 years away from being like a top tier in the West. You look at the rest of the West.
How long did it take OKC? This is
5 years.
No, 5 years.
Yeah.
So we got Wemby.
Right.
We got Wemby 3 years ago.
Right.
Counting next year.
Right.
So then now he's supposed to be a transcendent talent, not a generational, as you taught me.
Right. He's transcendent.
Transcendent. And we have a second-year Stephen Castle. We have a proven clutch player, De'Aaron Fox, come in who to play point guard. And now we just got younger again. We're 2 years away from being what OKC is now. And that is the best team in the league.
Again,
the best
I think
record.
that is.
I mean,
you look at OKC's roster right now, and outside of Wemby, OKC would have the next 5 players you would draft if you were drafting guys from both of those teams.
And you don't think the Spurs have that? De'Aaron Fox, Wemby.
That's what I'm saying.
Dylan Harper.
No. Hold on. Hear me out.
Stephon Castle.
You take away, right now, as we sit here, we can add Harper to it.
Yeah.
So if you just looked at OKC's roster and you looked at the Spurs roster, you would take Wemby ahead of SGA, would you? SGA is about to finish top 2 in MVP.
Absolutely.
But I'm talking about right now as a player. If you're drafting a pickup basketball team,
man, you're talking 1A, 1B.
I still say you take Wemby, but it's close.
Yeah.
It's an argument.
Yeah, he's the MVP.
Remove both of those guys. Yeah. Now, who would you say? Would you say Dylan Harper, Steph Castle, or De'Aaron Fox is the next best Spur? You would have to say De'Aaron Fox because he's achieved the most.
Yeah,
I think if you looked at Oklahoma City's roster, you would take Chet before you take De'Aaron. You wouldn't take Jalen Williams probably.
Chet is a good rebound. He crashes the board. He stretches the floor because he can hit the 3, and he's a decent rebounder. He's not elite, but De'Aaron Fox can take over a game. Chet can't.
No.
So I take De'Aaron Fox over Chet, 100%.
Man,
100%. Right now, I take him. Now, Chet, 3 years from now, I don't know. He could get better. But the thing that we know, like I said with Stephen Castle, we've seen him get better in 1 year, tremendously better to become the rookie of the year.
As you would hope, being a top 5 pick like that.
Yeah,
like it's not like he came out of nowhere.
But not every top 5 pick becomes better.
No, absolutely.
Look at Zion.
You still got to pick the right guy.
Worse.
Well, actually, Zion's statistically gotten better. He just can't stay healthy.
Yeah,
his percentage, his efficiency has skyrocketed. He just can't stay on the court. You mentioned not every 5. So Bomani Jones had this tweet as we think about the rest of the draft lottery, because teams like I had it right here. Like Charlotte was tied for the best odds. They end up 4th. Utah tied for the best odds, 5th. Washington tied for the best odds, 6th. New Orleans tied for the best odds, 7th. So the 4 teams that had the best odds are picking 4 through 7. But that being said,
it's so rigged.
I saw Bomani had this earlier today. The top 2 MVP candidates this year, Jokic and SGA. Jokic was 41st overall pick. SGA was 11th. The guy in Milwaukee, Giannis, 13th. The guy with 2 MVPs and 4 championships in Golden State, Steph Curry, 7th.
And
then Brunson, of course, second-round pick. Tyrese Halliburton, 12th.
Yeah, so what you're telling me is it's the players that grow. Unlike your album over there, they grow and become better before our eyes are the ones that become the MVP quality players. And that's why I do not want to give up Stephen Castle, because when you saw him in the beginning of the year versus what he is now, it's night and day.
Oh, I think
so. That just means give me 1 more year, and then all of a sudden he's averaging 22 points, 9 assists.
That would be a nice jump.
You know what I'm saying? That would be the next jump.
I think the interesting thing, the Steph Castle conversation is now off the table. They're keeping Steph. They're building around eventually Fox, Castle, Harper, and Wemby. Mm-hmm. That's your 4 for the next 4-5 seasons.
So what I want to know from you, because you know the players a lot better than me, what pick would we need to go up to get a quality big to play the 5? What pick do you think we need to go up to fill out the roster? We start De'Aaron at point. We got Stephon and Harper at the shooting. We got Wemby at the 4. We need the 5. That's our young team. What pick would we need to jump up to get that guy that would complete the team, that would go against OKC in the second year?
I mean, looking at some of the mock drafts, obviously we know who the top 2 are going to be. And then the next, looking at that next collection of Trey Johnson, Edgecombe, Knipple, your favorite guy.
Yeah, I would love some Knipple.
Those are all guards.
Yeah.
And the teams that are picking, 3rd through 7th are probably more looking for offensive-minded guards. I think you'd have to get somewhere around that 7, 8, 9.
So 7 to 9,
basically.
So you think I think we got enough stock, and we throw a Keldon or something in there, or a Vassell. I would like to keep Vassell over Keldon, but I'll take either one at the moment. And throw them a bunch of first-round picks. I think it's not out of the realm of moving up 5 picks to complete the young core, the young starters.
So the only reason it doesn't feel as likely now is because all of those teams that should have won the lottery are the teams you'd have to be trading with. So New Orleans at 7. They don't want to move down in this draft. This draft is supposedly one of the deepest we've had in the last 20 years. They're pissed they're at 7, but they don't want to be at 14. They don't want to move back. Brooklyn probably in the same boat. Toronto, and then Houston at 10. Maybe you do an interdivision because they're looking for players now to try to win. maybe that's there's so many different routes they can go. I'm not so sure the 14th pick though. Instead of thinking about trading up, maybe that's where you get a solid veteran with the Keldon or Vassell or both contracts, because it's all NBA. You got to match salary numbers in trades. So
Still, I mean, I wonder what the market is. I haven't seen any other prospective trades to other teams where we know, like you said, we would have to give up the number 2 and Stephon Castle to get Giannis. I haven't seen any other teams Phoenix would have to give up Booker. I always say Corey, give up Booker and Durant to get him.
You mean if they were going for Giannis?
I haven't seen any other possible trades for Giannis.
Not yet, but I think the most interesting. So, last night, we saw Cleveland eliminated. Mm-hmm. That Cleveland team feels a lot like where the Hawks were back when they had Al Horford, Joe John, who's the other big? Paul Millsap was on that team. I was
trying to think of what year you're talking
Jeff
about.
Teague, when the Hawks had the best record in the East, but they could never get past the second round because they're still, when it came time for playoff basketball, they didn't have that star to lead them. Donovan Mitchell.
He's aging, but he's still. I mean,
but those are. I think you're going to see a team like Cleveland who feels a bit stuck. A team like Houston who feels a bit stuck. Depending on,
you think Houston feels stuck?
Absolutely, yeah. I think they feel like.
I think they made a huge jump this year.
They did, no doubt, but
they need playoff experience. This is their first time in the playoffs since God knows when.
Yeah, but if you look at their roster,
not with this core of players,
right? But if you look at their roster structure, they're about to have to pay. Jalen Green is going to be a big money guy, or he's going to be included in a big time move. Okay. I think Şengün is the only one that's is untouchable on that entire roster. Jabari, former top pick, it feels like he's kind of maxed out. They are growing as a team, but it feels like their individual players might be maxing out. You get what I'm saying? So
they're gonna have to start paying some money.
Yeah, and they're about to have to commit to a core.
Having that Niner problem,
basically. But another team, it wouldn't shock me if all of a sudden we're hearing Oklahoma City being involved in Giannis trades. The only team that has more first-round picks than the Spurs over the next decade is Oklahoma City.
Oh my God.
And Oklahoma City, like we were just talking about, I might have been more bullish on the Thunder roster looking at it, but I still think there's just more depth talent on that roster than any roster in the league right now. So if you're the Thunder, you can't pay 10 guys. You can't pay 12 guys. You're only going to play 9 guys, and you really can only pay max dollar to 3.
Exactly, which would be Chet, SGA, and
Jalen Williams.
Yeah. So
assuming they keep that core together and don't say, we have a championship window right now, let's pair somebody and get Giannis.
But the thing they have is youth, speed, and defense. And that's where I'm saying, that's what made them, right now, they're not passing. They have the catch and shooters, like someone on the baseline or something, but they really only use those 3 to score points, and then they just do lockdown D and just pressure. And that's where I'm thinking Giannis, he can't run the floor like that. Wemby, look at Wemby.
I don't think Giannis can still run like a deer.
Yeah, I mean, but for how long?
Well, he would be 31 next season.
And then you want to talk about pain.
And he plays a physical game that doesn't age well in your 30s.
And he would already be a supermax contract. Wemby's going to be coming up on a supermax contract. Then we're going to have to start paying people. That's why when we get these players one every year, I think we can have a 5 or 6 year run if we get young now. And we just sit there and stay with our core 5 this year.
And that's exactly what Oklahoma City did until this year when they traded Josh Giddey for Caruso, who's been a great fit, and they signed Isaiah Hartenstein to the huge free agent deal to pry him away from the Knicks. So they waited. They were patient. They let the young core grow together, and then they made their move for a veteran.
And I think they're my favorites for the championship.
Oh, as they should be, especially after they beat Denver last night and took control of that series. And it's no surprise they do their business that way because, of course, we all know it's Sam Presti from the R.C. Buford.
Yeah, he comes from the pop
tree. He comes from the tree, right.
Yeah.
So it's not shocking that the Spurs are going that patient route. Mm-hmm. But again, at some point, if a move is available like that, you got to do it. And I think if Oklahoma City blows a 3-2 lead against Denver, they're going to be in the Giannis rumors. There's no doubt. That's they blew series last year against Dallas in the second round when Luka took over. Actually, I think it was Kyrie that really did the damage in that series. Mm-hmm. And then if they, depending on how far, if they don't make the NBA Finals, it wouldn't shock me if they are sniffing around in some kind of big move, because all of these teams, you stick with your patience for so long and you build for so long that eventually your championship window, it doesn't stay open forever.
Yeah.
So you get to that point, and as soon as that window opens, that's when you trade a young guy like Giddey for Caruso. You sign the big free agent deal. And I think the Spurs are realizing, hey, we're not where Oklahoma City is yet. So we're going to stay patient.
We can be there on this in 27. And if we get young now, and we have De'Aaron Fox leading the team, being as clutch as he is, Wemby being that man who wants to be the best ever.
Let's play this exercise. Okay. Let's just do it. So you think 2027, okay?
2027.
The Thunder are still going to be who the Thunder are. They have a young core. They're not going anywhere.
Okay.
And they're going to be they're a full championship contender. They're looking to win championships now, so they're going to be making aggressive moves. The Rockets just won 52 games. They have their young core. Again, they're going to be looking to make aggressive moves. Lakers obviously have Luka now. It is whatever else they do around him. It's the Lakers. They always seem to get lucky. There's your top three. Nuggets still have the best basketball player on the face of the earth. In 2 years, he's still going to be the best basketball player on the face of the earth.
They showed how to defeat him. Last year with Minnesota, they threw everything at Joker. Jamal, unless they add pieces, Jamal Murray is a shadow of himself.
Sure.
But, this is what Oklahoma's doing. Did you see his...
So, in 2 years, do you think the Spurs will be better than Jokic and anybody surrounding him?
So let's match them up. Jokic versus Wemby. I'd edge out Wemby in 2 years. Against Jokic? Against a 33-year-old Jokic who doesn't want to be there?
I think this is what drives me most insane. We are so quick to extrapolate out what we think is going to happen when no one actually has any clue what's going to happen. Obviously, I don't either, but I know Jokic is the best basketball player on earth. He's still going to be, if he's not the best in 2 years, he's still going to be second or third best.
You saw what happened the last game. He did everything. That miracle three-pointer that was damn near hit the the screen on top of the
that guy that's still having to do everything can carry a team to 50 wins though. That's my whole point.
But he can't carry it when he's got a bunch of young players throwing at him. And he's sitting there. Have you seen his his field goal percentage in the second half of these games?
It's not good.
It's 20%.
Yeah, it's not good.
It's not good, except for last night's game where he was this is a must-win Game 5, pivotal game. He tried everything, and they edged him out because they were younger, and they threw it and they just kept on pounding on Jokic, and he was making stupid shots.
Sure.
Stupid shots that should never be made and ever, but he didn't get the win.
All I would say is if I was betting, I would still put my money on Jokic and whatever they put around him in 2 years because he's that good.
I don't think
the next one, the Clippers. Well, we're just hypothetically.
If
the Clippers, sure, you can convince me the Clippers are about to implode with Harden, Kawhi, that whole sure. The Timberwolves, Anthony Edwards.
Ant's gonna want out of there. I think he likes
yeah,
that.
again, now we're talking.
Okay, so
you're saying everybody's going to want out of everywhere. Like Anthony Edwards just made a conference final last year. He's on the verge of making another conference final this year. So he might be making his first NBA Finals appearance. I just don't. Again, I don't think you can just take. You can look at the Spurs roster and say in 2 years they will be better than a team that has about to make back-to-back conference finals appearances.
Right now,
the T-Wolves are still in a much better position than we are, even with the number 2 overall pick.
My peak right now is OKC. That's what I'm looking at, the model that I want to build under.
1,000%.
You know
that's
what I'm
the
saying?
model that it should be, and that's the model they're going now.
And that's where I'm thinking you have Minnesota's too old, except for Ant and who's their other second? Is it Randall?
Well, now, I mean, really, I guess Randall.
Yeah, Randall.
But it doesn't, I mean,
but
they're probably going to lose Naz Reid here in a month.
So
free agency.
So that's where I think Ant's going to want out whenever he wants to get his Supermax. He's going to test the market. And then, who wants to be in Minnesota? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's why Garnett went out.
Sure.
And as much as he was as loyal
but Garnett stayed there 2 contract extensions.
Yeah, exactly. But he couldn't get past Duncan. That's why I think when you have somebody like Wemby, I don't think Holmgren can top Wemby. I don't think Joker can top Wemby. When we have that one player that can stand up against their one player, defensive-wise and offensively, that can neutralize that, and then what's around him. And that's when I say Stephen Castle reminds me so much of a Kawhi Leonard, but with a better attitude. The amount of progression and the amount of how much better he got, unless something improbable happens and he starts digressing, which I don't see happening, he's going to be an all-star.
Okay, this is driving me crazy. I've heard so many talk about Steph Castle's rookie year like it was the best rookie year numbers we've ever seen. He had a great year, showed tons of development. He averaged 15 points a game. Was limited in playing time by the coaching staff. Oddly, at times, wasn't included.
We were tanking.
We were tanking, exactly. Yeah. But again, if we're extrapolating out 2 years from now, SGA will still be a better player than Steph Castle. 2 years from now, Ant will still be a better player than Steph. This is not. We just all of a sudden talk about Steph Castle's. Well, he's going to be an all-star in 2 years.
What did Ant look like his first year? What did SGA look like his first year?
Kind of
looked like Castle.
Better. No,
kind of looked like what? Someone who can't jump out the ceiling like Castle. Someone who can't shoot the 3 like Castle. Someone who can't put the ball on the floor. His field goal percentage was dog shit in the beginning of the year. That's why he wasn't averaging points. My thing is
Ant stepped into the league and averaged 20 a game.
Yeah, because they weren't tanking. You don't think Castle, if they put him on the starter and was like, hey, Wemby.
This is the extrapolation of, if Manu if he was a starter on any other team, we didn't have the CP3 goddamn league scoring record.
If we didn't have CP3 taking up his time, which I value CP3's veteran leadership for his 1 year here, but you're talking about 2 totally different scenarios. But you're telling me that all his abilities and everything I see with my eyes, and then look at the numbers and the growth that he did from the beginning to the end, that's what I'm mainly focused on. I'm not focused on what could be thing. I'm just like, there was so much growth from 1 year.
That wasn't historic growth. That was just what you normally see from a guy drafted in the top 5. He's a solid top 5 pick.
Yeah.
Let's not extrapolate this out to he's going to be league top 10 in 2 years. Let's be patient, because the guy they're about to draft at 2 is a guy that you could say that about. Yeah. They're about to get an Anthony Edwards type talent at number 2 in this draft.
And that's why I don't know, man. Then just seeing him, the way he handled himself and the way he just growth and he brought the energy to the Spurs, he's going to mean a lot. He's going to be part of a big 3, for years to come. And that's if we keep him. Now, Dylan Harper coming around, you got 2 people trying to edge each other out, having that competitiveness, playing against each other every practice.
That's my favorite part of this strategy, and you saw it a lot in Oklahoma City over the years. The energy of having a young team It's not just on the court every night. It's traveling together, all relating to each other, all pushing each other individually off the court to be better, all pushing each other in practice when they have a rare practice in the NBA.
And then when you have a solid leader like Wemby's, like everything says that, even though I can't see in the future, as you say, Wemby seems like that Tim Duncan style leader, that he's going to show you, he's going to do what he says, and then he's like, you better do what I do.
No, he seems like a guy that's he's gonna drag your ass out of bed to be at the gym to get shots up every summer.
And honestly, that's where I think Castle came in, was like, okay, I'm a number 4 pick. I got Wemby. I'm not starting. I think he was pouting a little bit, and then all of a sudden he got that work ethic, and the growth came. And then I think he saw it himself. And then even after the All-Star break, when he got that, he should have won slam dunk with a slam dunk contest.
Yeah, that was a bit ridiculous.
I think he was like, oh man, I got a little taste of this. He wants more, and the only way he can get more is to get better. He's got to get better. He's got to compete with the Ants, with the SGA. You know what I'm saying? So I see that drive in him. It's just that it factor.
Yeah, and those are the things that it seems like the Spurs, when it comes to scouting individual guys, that's what they get right more than most any other team.
We took Kawhi away from Indiana, right?
It was George Hill traded to Indy and Kawhi.
We got Kawhi because we saw
draft night. Yeah,
because they saw they're like, okay, look at this guy with a long wingspan. He's a solid defender. That was key. That was Pop's key. And then now we just got to make him shoot better. You know what I'm saying? So it's like now we got kids that are already shooting better and are already solid defenders. Let's plug them in. That's why I say the timeline is raising up a little bit in my eyes.
Yeah, having no idea what this thing looks like in 2 years, and also having the biggest wild card in all of that is what Dylan Harper looks like in 2 years. Because Dylan Harper in 2 years, with his pedigree and what we think he's going to be, right?
He's still growing.
Like in 2 years, he's your second dog to Wemby. He's your Robin potentially. Yeah. He's better than Fox or Castle in 2 years, if what we've been told is to be believed. But the four of them together in 2 years,
like Fox could be the 4th best player.
You're still talking about a 21-year-old kid, a 22-year-old kid, a 23-year-old kid, and De'Aaron Fox into that is still very, 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 very rarely in this league. Very rarely in this league do we see a team that young of their 4 best players actually win anything.
Yeah,
it's still, the process is still.
They're going to have to prove it. They're going to have to prove it, but the ceiling is high.
I completely agree. No, I think if you're looking at before the season started, me and my buddy Toby did a podcast where we ranked the young cores, the 25 and under players on each roster. Mm-hmm. And I had with last year's roster, without even knowing, obviously that Dylan Harper was going to be added to that. Mm-hmm. I think I had the Spurs second behind Oklahoma City, because technically SGA was still under our cutoff. Yeah. I think it was still SGA. I had him second to somebody. It might have been Minnesota because of Ant. But it's, if you have Wemby and you have now what we see in Steph Castle, and then you're adding another young guy to that core, and then I'm not sure there's not another core of guys 23 and under across the entire league that you would rather have than those 3.
And I think those guys are going to realize that they have something special and they have to capitalize on it now. And they can take over the league.
You can realize that, but historically, you don't actually realize that until you're...
Because the young guys don't have the work ethic. They don't have the work ethic. But
no, it's more of the young guys don't have the experience. The young guys don't have the years of winning games together. It's just building that camaraderie.
But Wemby's been playing since 16.
Well, all of these guys have been playing...
No, professionally.
Sure. So there's your one guy.
Yeah, that's your leader.
And Castle won games at UConn. So
the leader seemed like he pushed Castle.
And your leader led a team to 34 wins this season.
He played half the season.
No, he played 2/3 of the season. And when they left it,
after
they
All-Star
were still
break. That's half the season. All-Star break.
NBA does the All-Star breaks at the tail end. It's
I thought it was
two-thirds of the
because
way
they
through
did
the
that
season.
play-in championship. Is like you still almost was half.
That's basically the halfway point.
Let's go 65%.
Yeah.
And he still averaged more blocks than anybody, including playoffs.
He still has, I think, more blocks than anybody after missing all those games as we sit here tonight.
No one can catch him.
He's
going to have 250 blocks a season, man.
The pathway is there.
Yeah.
Now it's just going to be about patience, because if you're expecting, if we're believing in this path and we're following it, which the more we talked after Monday night, I went home and I couldn't stop thinking about which direction the Spurs go.
Yeah.
And I think I agree with you at this point. I think I agree with you. You keep the pick, you take Harper, and you build that core together. You let another team chase Giannis right now because their championship window is already open.
Is
Yours
Giannis
is a couple years
to
away.
Wemby? Is he going to be like, hey, I'll let you be alpha?
And
we don't know that.
If they had made that trade, I think those two guys could have figured that out pretty easily. But I think I am fully on. I've swung. Not that I was fully on Giannis, but again, if a MVP is available at his age, I think you have to at least strongly consider it.
Think of it.
If you have the assets. But now, as we think about the Spurs moving forward, keeping the pick, now it's about patience, because this is not a team that should have, let's get into an actual playoff series now with this young core. And get some of that experience.
And
that's the goal.
And that's what I'm saying. We're going to get into a play. I think we're going to be not even a play-in next year.
So that would mean you would have to be in the top six.
Top six. Lakers, they're going to rebuild. LeBron, can LeBron do it again at 42?
Lakers, with what they have right now, are still a better team. The Lakers just won 50 games. LeBron's going to be back. Luka's going to be back.
They had to get Luka.
Right.
Yeah, but
Luka's not going anywhere.
Yeah, but
so they still have Luka.
Give me the drop. LG, he's fat. It's gonna take him half a season.
Well, look, that fat ass
is gonna take him half because he's gonna get
first team All NBA the last 5 years.
He gets
5 of his first 6 years. I think he had one off.
Oh man,
not consecutively.
And let's remember Bronny coming up.
All right. On that note.
I knew that was going to get us.
Last thing, obviously we talked Cavs being eliminated. Cleveland might be entering those sweepstakes. Thunder, depending on where they go. T-Wolves look like they're going to finish off. The Warriors with Curry out again tonight. The one that happened right as we were signing off Monday night, the Celtics are now an extremely, extremely interesting team because Tatum's out, ruptured Achilles. He's out most of next year, if not all of next year.
Yeah.
Because of their salary situation, they basically have to trade at least one, maybe two of this group of guys between KP, Drew Holiday, Derek White.
Yeah.
And then your Sam Hauser, he's got to go. He makes $10 million a year. They're going to be way over the second apron, which without giving everybody tired head, it just it limits everything you can do roster building. So they've got to shed some salary.
That's the East problem. That's the East problem.
But here, this is the problem though. The division between the East and the West now, the West is about to get the top 2 picks and the most loaded draft we might have had in 20 years.
And we're obviously the best division.
The East is getting
conference, whatever.
The East is getting the scraps left there from 3 to 9. Those are all East Conference teams. So the gap between, especially with Tatum's injury,
it's about to be the early 2000s with the
what
West
it feels
just
like.
winning every year. Maybe once in a while, the underdog Eastern Conference will pull out a win.
Or like when the Sixers with AI just take over and one guy can do it.
But you can't beat a Western dominant team.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
The Celtics now, though, knowing, KP, D. White, Drew Holiday are all technically available in conversations now. They've got to move one of them for salary purposes. Now that Tatum's injured, we might see like a pseudo tank next year by the Celtics. If they really wanted to blow things up, they could trade Jaylen Brown and
he's on the super
really
max.
tank. Right. So that
free up that cap.
They're, unfortunately because of the injury, they are now a really, really interesting team to look at this summer.
That's why I don't see Giannis leaving the Eastern Conference. It's such a cupcake. Like he's like, at least I can go to the playoffs every year knowing, like, do you think the Knicks are really going to beat, even though I would love to see the Knicks. Yeah, I love Jalen Brunson. You guys already know that. Do I think they can beat Joker or SGA or Ant? No. I don't see him beating them.
The odds, the chance that we might get an Oklahoma City, Minnesota finals matchup after they did the trade a week before the regular season started when Randall and Cat swapped places, Yeah. And I guess DiVincenzo as well going to Minnesota. The two of them facing off in the finals would actually be, I think, out of all of the scenarios that are like
that would be the championship.
I think that's the one. I want to see Ant in the finals, and I would love to see because they made the trade. See them. I don't want to see Oklahoma City ever succeed. Those are still the zombie Supersonics. They should be in Seattle. LG, let's do some lightning round before we get out of here. Oh. This is something I think we'll talk about a lot more next week. The NFL schedules all dropped tonight, and really the only ones, as far as the Cowboys are going to get slaughtered on Thanksgiving.
Oh, yeah.
They got the Chiefs.
Yeah.
And then 4 days, it was either 4 days later or, no, it's 4 days before, the Sunday before.
Yeah.
The Eagles. So they have to play the Eagles on a Sunday and then the Chiefs that same Thursday.
Oh, man.
Not good. And then they are playing on the Christmas Day Netflix game. Cowboys playing on Christmas Day against Washington.
Hit me, LG.
I'd buy that for $1.
It looks like your Cowboys and my Niners both missed the 8 international games that are having to go on.
Fine by me.
Oh, my God, man. 8 international games. Minnesota's got to stay out there across the pond 2 times. Looks like the Jaguars, gave a reach around to someone to not do that job. But yeah, so we all avoided the early 8:30 games, which I hate. Man,
I kind of like them because it
kills my fantasy. I got to sit there and set my fantasy lineup, man. The 8:30 ruins everything. And trust me, being the commissioner, having to hear everyone bitch. Oh my God, it's like it's a thankless job, and you will hear me. That will be more later in the year.
Of course it's a thankless job. It's commissioner of a fantasy football league. One other NFL note before we get an interstitial
Hit
here.
him.
Did see Derrick Henry sign the 2-year extension.
Oh, yeah. That was on my stuff.
So it's
only $15 million a year.
It's okay. It's the most expensive contract any running back over 30 years old has ever gotten. So in that sense, he just got cashed out.
Yeah.
But it's only $15 million a year, which makes him now the 4th highest paid running back. The fact that Derrick Henry, after what we saw him do last year, it's Saquon and Derrick Henry and then everybody else. Even, if you want to CMC, he's the third next. He's the next hit contract wise.
And I think he's willing to restructure.
Yeah, eventually they're going to have to. All right, hit me, LG. You mentioned Draymond getting fined. So he got fined $50,000 again. He's got that now takes him over $900,000 in fines in his career and $3.1 million in money lost due to suspensions. So he is, in some form or fashion, has lost over $4 million for disciplinary reasons.
Where did that money go?
Straight league office.
League office, not to a charity.
Well, technically, I think the NBA is a charity. It's a nonprofit. Yeah.
It's a nonprofit.
Yeah, they're just a broker. But the fine, this one, I don't know if y'all watched the game. So the game ended up being Warriors lost by 7.
Yeah.
The line on that game was 5.5.
So he said something about the line.
He suggested that maybe the NBA should look into the officials because it feels like they knew exactly what that number was and made sure that at the end of it, the Warriors were not going to cover.
It wouldn't be the first time. Hit me, LG.
What's happening?
Oh, man. Tory Lanez got stabbed 14 times in jail. The one who shot Megan Thee Stallion in the foot. I bet he.
If you believe he pulled the trigger.
If you
There's
believe
conspiracies.
you don't think he could have paid someone off to take that rap? Come on now, get it, rap.
Oh my God.
All right.
My God. Hit me, LG. I swear eventually we're going to do an E-Bombs corner, but we're running out of time tonight. So again, it's like the old "What's up with that" bit with Lindsey Buckingham.
What's up with that?
We'll get to Lindsey next week. That's our E-Bombs corner.
And what would you like to say, Lindsey? And we are out of time.
Just out of time. Now we're gonna end. We're gonna end tonight. First of all, I've noticed something. Maybe it's not happening more often, but it seems to be happening more often to me. And this is an absolute bitch session to close things out. You ever pulled up to a red light? So imagine there's two lanes.
I run them.
2 lanes. Well, fair. Good man. Don't let the computers control your life.
Yes.
Smart man. You pull up to a red light. There's 2 lanes. There's a car in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
They're in the left of the 2 lanes.
Yeah.
And you're right behind them. So red light, you're waiting. You're thinking, all right, as soon as this light turns green, this guy doesn't have a blinker on, so we're all going to go straight.
Yeah.
And then the second the light turns green, throw a blinker on. Nope, I'm turning left. And there's oncoming traffic, so now you're boxed in behind the car who, instead of using a blinker to let you know what they're doing, like a blinker was invented for. So you're behind them, and then as soon as it turns green, people just don't want to hear their blinker go tick, tick, tick.
Dude,
tick,
they're sitting
tick,
there looking at
tick.
their GPS or texting and stuff. I could go on all day.
No, the only reason
it's these Uber drivers.
No, the only reason it's different is because if that was the case, they just wouldn't use a blinker anyway.
Yeah.
I'm just don't use blinkers. My old man used to say
They're working their second job as a telemarketer while driving.
Everybody needs a little extra scratch. My old man used to always say he never used his blinker because he didn't want to wear it out. And it would drive me mad because we would almost get hit head on all the time because he'd just slowly turn with no blinker. Be like, what the hell was that, man?
See, me and your old man got some, I like his style because I always said yielding's for suckers. You know, because when you start yielding, you're like, who's going to go first? If you just gunned it,
That's not how yield works. One party very clearly has a yield.
There was a decision made. If you just gun it, the decision was made, final, done. No, can we do that? Can we do that? Oh, yeah, I like it. I like your old man's style.
Well, he also says insurance is a Ponzi scheme, which he's right about that one at least.
About it. I like to throw, before we go ahead, I like to throw a shout out once again because we're going to get some AC up in this house, LG, to Ramirez Services. Give them a shout out for all your air conditioning needs. They do commercial as well. 210-904-4246. Get this house cooler, LG. And that's it.
Well, the mantra has been, whatever you just did, I lost hearing in my left can because you slammed your damn phone down, giving away plug-ola, payola for free.
Hey, man, it's going to be worth it.
It's not free if we trade for services.
Exactly. Barter, as my mom always said, barter is better.
Yeah, I guess there's my legal team stepping in.
Don't ever say that to a bunch of hippies.
Oh, LG, get us out of here. It's about that time. We will recommence next Monday night live, as always. If you want to get a hold of me, find me on X at Biggest Puma, on Instagram, biggest.puma, or good old Facebook, Sam Freas. But till then, y'all have a good weekend. Enjoy Stars Jets. Enjoy Rangers Astros. Enjoy the PGA Championship.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one.
Charlotte. Yeah, and like and subscribe to this thing. Help us continue to grow. But till then, y'all be safe. Peace.
Thank you.
Kids, what do we say about drugs?